I'll call the special open board meeting of Wednesday, December 20th to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people where we live, learn, and play. Moving to adoption of agenda. Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Doman. All those in favor? Motion carries. Moving to old business, policy review process, and Mr. Sandquist has a briefing report.
Thank you. Attached in your agenda package is a briefing note, and it covers details from a meeting that the board chair and Trustee Schmidt, and the superintendent, myself, and executive assistant had with Mr. Leroy Sloan, who was in town doing some work for the Victoria School District, and he had some time in his calendar to come up and talk to us about the Sloan policy model. So we've outlined in the briefing note really what it means. It means a complete revision of school district policy. It means a motion which would rescind all that we have today and to replace it with 16 core policies which are listed for you. Now it may also grow beyond 16 policies, as there are district-specific items that are very important to board. So he recognizes that there may be additional work there. Typically, he comes into a school district and begins working with the board in a single-day session to really go through the policy level, and then he comes back and he works with the staff over a period of 2 days to work on the admin procedures. So they get quite clearly separated as far as role of the board being with the governance, and role of the admin procedures line with the superintendent. Overall, it would cost the district for the entire package about $45,000. That's all in. That includes his visits, his travel, his partner's travel, work with the school district, time he spends here in district. I think those of us that were at the meeting all felt that this was work that we wouldn't be able to do in-house for that amount of money, and certainly not within his time frame. He would be able to have the policy work completed and to the board for adoption before the end of the school year.
Thank you. Trustee Schmidt?
I do want to say I was a little skeptical about spending $45,000. I was talking to the board chair before the meeting. After I finished that meeting, there was no doubt in my mind that was money we're spent, that there's no way that we can produce what he's going to produce with the whole accountability piece, and it's an amazing investment of money for the board.
Mr. Sandquist?
We'll have a complete financial update for the board in the January agenda package, but I can tell you that we, with the analysis we've done to date, we have had a positive, I guess we'll call it a positive grant announcement. We've had some gains and some losses, but overall we gained more than we lost. So we have not, our surplus will be greater than what I've shown the board to date. So as far as the classroom enhancement fund, the additional funding that we had asked for, we have been able to improve that from $400,000 to $954,000. So that's had a significant impact on allowing us now to move some of the EA charges from the operating budget into that new classroom enhancement fund, and we've been able to free up some room there. We have lost on our average teacher salary supplement, because overall we hired so many new people that our salaries dropped in comparison to the base of the province. But ups and downs, we're up. So I would see this as not this expenditure would not necessarily affect the surplus that the board already has. It would be an allocation of the new money which the board has just received.
Trustee Hutchins?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with this investment. I'm just curious about the background on the second to last paragraph. He worked most recently with the Vancouver School Board. Is that before they were fired or after they were fired?
He's in
Mr.
now.
Sandquist?
Is it now? Okay. And did he produce any examples of his work?
Mr. Sandquist?
If you are familiar with West Vancouver's policy manual, that's his work. He's done New Westminster recently. Delta is currently doing some work with Victoria. He's doing significant work with Vancouver on revision of their policy manual. He has rewritten 80% of Alberta's policy work manual and about 50% of Saskatchewan, but he's beginning to be requested more and more in the province of BC.
Thank you, Trustee Schmidt.
I'd like to move the recommendation.
Moved by Trustee Schmidt, seconded by Trustee Thorne. Any further conversation? I'd just like to support this motion. Mr. Sloan was extremely impressive. He had a wealth of knowledge around policy, more than I have experienced ever in my time in this district. He seemed to know exactly what he was able to do and was able to convince us through his examples of his work from like West Vancouver that he could do that for us. The other piece for me is it's a long-term investment, so it's a chunk of money right now in this year, but if you look at it in long term, we haven't had our policy updated for so many years, and we, through staff and Trustee Schmidt's endeavors, got to a certain point. But the next point requires a level of expertise that I don't think any of us are able to provide. Trustee Schmidt?
And he also did say to us that this would be a legacy for the next board.
Yes. Thank you. Trustee Hutchins?
So where did the thing come from?
Could I ask Mr. Allen?
We asked around of various superintendents whose policies, manuals from districts that we liked and seemed to make sense, and Leroy Sloan's name kept popping up, and so it was by the third district we sort of selected, not at random, but from looking at work we liked. Oh, Leroy again, and then sort of did some reference checks on not just the policy work, but the entire package that he brings around governance understanding. Every place he did, every place said we'd do it again tomorrow if we needed to. He was a great investment, long-term investment in the district.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchins?
I do recall a few years ago when we first started, we looked at the BCSTA, and they have a library of all the policies in the province, but they don't have any way of selecting best practices. So I think it'd be worthwhile as we go through this process that we keep them informed and engaged, because our staff shouldn't be having to do this. It should be delivered. Here's an individual that can help. I mean, I'm not quite sure where the gap is, but 60 school districts should have a single source of this type of information available, or this type of resource, human resource available, rather than have to search for it themselves.
Thank you. Any further comments on the motion? Trustee Thorpe?
I really like the ideas. I'm reading it, and I apologize for being late. Being a single dad, it's not easy getting around on time. I've been familiar with the background, listening to people talk, and God willing, we'll all be sitting there after the elections come around. I think we need to look at something we can put together so that any new board members get fully, it should be the first thing they learn. Other than that, anything that's going to help our students and families with the things that we've gone through this year has been very challenging. I think change, this is it. This is a good thing.
Thank you. Anything further on the motion? Trustee Schmidt?
There's a typo in the recommendation. It should be prior to June 2018, not June 2017. Thank you, Trustee Hutchins.
It has been changed.
Okay.
Anything further on the motion? Okay, I'll make the call. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Moving to adjournment. Moved by Trustee Thorpe, seconded by Trustee Doma. All those in favor? Motion carries. We will have a minute